The world of Ali Abdullah at a glance. Ali Abdullah, the preeminent pioneer, dancer, folklorist, choreographer, cultural historian, consultant, and former choreographer for the National Senegalese Ballet in Senegal, West Africa. Ali Abdullah was born in Charleston, South Carolina, and raised in New York City, Harlem, and lived in Senegal, West Africa for over 16 years, where he studied, researched, and taught at the National Conservatoire of Music, Dance, and the Dramatic Arts. He learned the language Wolof and the customs and culture of the people of Senegal there. He speaks French and uses it as a language of communication throughout Francophone countries he has visited in North America and Sub-Saharan Africa. Ali Abdullah assisted Miss Catherine Dunham, a dance choreographer and world-renowned anthropologist, both in organization and work study planning for the National Senegalese Ballet. From his close observation, patience, and discipline, he has mastered the spirit and characteristics of some of the world's most noted dance forms, giving him much insight into the holistic and ritualistic values in healing the body and spirit. He was married traditionally in Senegal, where two of his children were born and raised. He studied under Sylvia Fort and has worked with Babatunde Olotunji, Louis Delcina, Solomon Laurie, and a host of other artists. He interprets African history, legends, and traditional dance forms through the art of choreography and adapted it to the Western theater without compromising its significant value. He has danced and performed extensively throughout Africa, Europe, the Middle East, Canada, and the United States. For over 25 years, he has studied and performed in 10 African countries, 7 European countries, and 5 Middle Eastern countries. Through these experiences, he has developed his own dynamic technique, the Baba Ali technique. Some of his techniques and interpretations and the dances that accompanied him are explicitly clear through his creative and expressive movements. A great deal of his work has been documented on film, videotape, and recorded audio tapes. He is one of the few pioneers in the field that can lecture extensively on the subject of African folklore, dance history, language, society, and how its impact on the world culture issued a new world of expression. Supported by a library of archives and memorabilia, his contributions to this field of study is immense and stands out as an important and vital piece of historical documentation. In 1966, he attended the first African World Festival, commonly dubbed the Premier Festival, Mondial des Arts Negre. Following that festival, he attended the Pan-African Festival in Algeria, North Africa, which within the same year, Ali Abdullah was appointed by the President of Senegal, Leopold Sédar Senghor, as the official choreographer for the National Senegalese Ballet, titled the Queen Ballet, La Lingerie. From the early 1960s, Ali Abdullah pioneered an education and understanding of African culture, folklore, language, and social harmony within the diaspora. Ali, affectionately known as Baba, father or leader, has worked diligently to dispel so many stereotypical concepts associated with the continent of Africa and its people. In 1982, Ali moved from Africa to Detroit, Michigan with his family and founded the Studio of African Dance of Philosophy, Incorporated. This was the first African dance company in Michigan that based its dances and choreography uniquely on Africa's epic history. It's the telling of stories through dances, movements, and dramatic interpretation. In 1987, he founded the International African Cultural Arts Exchange Center, Incorporated. The center eventually developed into a semi-professional dance company under the artistic direction of Ali Abdullah. The center hosted artists from many parts of the African continent, the United States, and Canada to teach at the center and perform in Detroit. He hosted the National Senegalese Ballet at the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History. He has received many awards and certificates from which he has taught classes in the Wolof language, lectured at the Wayne State University, Wayne County Community College, elementary, middle, and high schools. Also held programs at Maxie Boys Detention Facility and the Women's Correctional Facility at Jackson State Prison. In 2005, he lectured for the University Musical Society at the University of Michigan, titled Voice of Griot, hosted by the Shrine of the Black Madonna. In 2006, he presented a dance and lecture forum at the Charles H. Wright Museum of African History entitled The Color of Dance. Ali is writing a book based on his memoirs and biographical data. Ali Abdullah is an advocate of cultural diversity and promotes events of high quality relevant to the true concept of global consciousness. He'll be donating his library of memoirs to Howard University and the Springhorn Research Center, Washington, D.C., honoring a true legend of African dance, Ali Abdullah.
Historical background, Ali Abdullah, Doctor of Arts in the Performing Arts, a preeminent pioneer dancer, folklorist, a choreographer, a cultural historian, consultant, and former choreographer for the National Senegalese Ballet in West Africa. Born in Charleston, South Carolina, March 19, 1939. Raised in Harlem, New York. Ali Abdullah learned vernacular dancing from family members, friends, and neighborhood street festivals.
Okay.
In Buffalo. And at that time I was getting a little stronger in Buffalo in terms of my direction in life. I came back from Buffalo to Harlem, New York. I'd become a director of an African cultural center.
Yeah, the Cultural Center.
Yeah. And left Buffalo to go back to Harlem, to New York. This is a collection of photographs depicting my career in dance. These are some of the earliest recollections that I have about my position as choreographer for the National Senegalese Ballet in Senegal, West Africa, for 16 years. I went there in 1966, and from 1966 to 1975. And these pictures on the wall here talk about my experience. And besides that picture is a smaller one of one that my son painted for me. And it's striking. I have a larger one up on the other side. When we get to that point, we can talk about it. That is an Egyptian paper, papyrus. And I thought it was really a great photograph, or a great collection, rather, of that particular paper with the calligraphy on it. And that's the first paper that was written in the world. And then next to that, I have women with baskets on their head, water, which is what I call the liquid of life. Because in every African village you go in or town, water is so essential and so important. So that picture, I have three women here carrying water. Mm-hmm. And then next to that is myself, and that was the first time I touched the African soil in dancing. And so this photograph might not come out as clear, but there's a halo on my head, and that halo comes from really that inspiration that I received when touching the earth, the African earth. And then what was so exciting about it was that it was almost like I was dancing inside of a spiritual sphere. And in doing that, it did a lot of things for my spirit. And a woman danced out in front of me. I don't know what she was doing, but I was not really concerned. I was just in the spiritual mood of dancing. And she threw something, and it was her headscarf. And it landed, and I picked it up, and you can see from the picture, I'm holding it in one hand as I dance. And in that one hand, I danced until the music stopped, until the drumming stopped. And then it was told to me why that woman threw the headscarf on me. It was because all the champion dancers, that's what women would do. When they see a man champion dancing, they throw their head ties. I've also done all by hand, and that's calligraphy. And that calligraphy was done by Africans at a particular point in history. It's a striking picture that needs to be preserved. Some of the artists or the artisans in Senegal can read that, but if they're still alive, that's pretty old. I don't know the age of it, but I think there are some Senegalese that could read it.
Do it again, Rashida.
In Kansas City, they learned it, and then they started saying to one another, "You're bucking."
What is that? Be quiet. Oh.
But then he kind of insulting everybody.
Oh.
And then after they say, "Well, how you say this? How you say that?" I said, "No, that's all right." He was slapping.
Okay, do it again.
So much fun with language.
They do. And you finna add the dance to it, the movements. That's funny. Go ahead, Baba.
Say it now.
Uh-huh. And
So keep going. You gotta keep the roll. This is the Baba CD.
Uh-huh. Go ahead. Uh-huh. Takalokala. Go gimme. And. Takalokala. Gimme.
Okay, you got it.
C'est un spectacle qui retraçait l'histoire des Afro-Américains au début de l'Afrique et jusqu'au le futur. Et le spectacle est intitulé Réfléchir sur le passé, révélation sur le futur, dans le futur. Et le ballet, c'est tous les artistes dans le ballet, c'est presque les élèves qui travaillent à l'Institut national des arts pendant 3 ans, 4 ans. Et pour faire ce spectacle, je travaille plus que 2 mois. 2 mois pour faire le travail, mais le fond de travail, c'est presque 3 ans, 2 ans. Et je voulais faire plus que ça, mais ça, c'est une petite représentation au théâtre.
Alors si je comprends bien, tout le spectacle que vous allez donner a trait à l'histoire afro-américaine, c'est-à-dire toute la période de l'esclavage, jusqu'à, disons, l'américain noir aujourd'hui dans la société américaine, c'est ça?
Mais même avant l'esclavage, parce que j'ai fait un peu le romanticisme dans les ballets africains. Parce qu'au début du spectacle, c'est dans un village avec les grillés qui dansent et les femmes qui donnent de l'eau. C'est une fantaisie, c'est une flash, c'est la réalité, mais c'est un flash de l'Afrique théâtralisé.
Eh bien, je crois que j'aurai plaisir à vous retrouver après le premier gala de votre spectacle pour discuter davantage et vous dire, disons, ce que moi j'en pense personnellement. Mais je voudrais, avant de conclure ce petit entretien, savoir qu'est-ce que vous avez comme projet pour l'avenir après ce premier spectacle que vous donnez à Dakar.
Oui, après ce spectacle, je voulais rentrer dans le domaine de la recherche. Parce que les méthodes et le style que j'emploie, c'est basé sur l'Afrique, c'est basé sur le rythme africain. Donc, il y a beaucoup l'Afrique c'est riche et toujours il y a des choses pour trouver, les nouvelles choses à trouver. Et je suis dans le cadre de recherche. Et je voulais continuer ma recherche et développer une ballet plus fort